Exactly. I will speak in English. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm very happy, I'm glad to be here to present a summary of our field trip in a very amazing landscape in Cinque Terre in Liguria. I would like to start with this picture showing a very beautiful view on Cinque Terre. So from landscape, we can learn a lot about history and the roots of a nation, but also we can learn a lot about the health and the evolution of a community, also from the hydrogeological risk point of view. This is a satellite view of part of Liguria, and with a yellow circle, just highlight the study areas. So 3 study areas near Chiavari and Lavagna, and 2 study areas in Cinque Terre. The first case study is located near Portofino. This is a beautiful view of the sunset on Portofino, but behind this view there is also a sad view. The terrace collapse in olive cultivation because of lack of maintenance. Also here you are able to see the problems. And also is a drainage system maintenance problem. You are able to see that there is terrain in the drainage system, so the hydraulic section is obscured by soil, and this should be an hydraulic criticality during intense rainfall. Again, the wall that tends to deform under intense rainfall event. And this is the second case study, a little bit far from the coastal area. We are more on the mountains. And here is a quite interesting case study because you're able to see a kind of different terrace, wider, longer, and deeper. You see here, and look also the terrain. So people 100 years ago, they just transport terrain here for a ranch cultivation of grape or also potato. And also they provide, they design, and they construct an underground drainage system. It's interesting. But there is also a problem. Because remember, maybe 200 or 300 years ago, in this place there wasn't a terrain. And now there is a terrain. It's an anthropogenic landscape change. So this landscape needs to be maintained. Otherwise, it can be a timing bomb. For example, it can be, it's quite easy to understand, a debris flow source during intense rainfall event. Here we just is another case study, more close to village. We are near Lavagna with a dry stone wall. Also here we have problem. And also in this landscape, the underground drainage system is designed and is not well maintained. Just change, we are more close to Cinque Terre. We are in Cinque Terre, we are near Manarola and Vernazza. Also here, we have problem of terrain, of the dry stone wall collapse. On October 10, we arrange a scientific meeting in the city of Chiavari. Here is a picture related to the presentation of a major of Chiavari. And the main outcomes of the scientific meeting, I just try to synthesize the main outcomes in these slides. So mapping is really, really important to provide an inventory of terrace landscapes, terrace, and landslides, processing data. So we need to better understand processes, hydrologic processes, especially hydrographic network analysis and surface water flow direction during intense, very, very intense rainfall event. Restoration, we need to restore, but also we need to manage and maintain. Also with an agronomic approach, we need to find best practice to manage hydraulic and hydrologic criticalities. Also because a terrace can be seen also as a positive externality in order to avoid the land degradation. And here is an example of an application using one of the most useful recent remote sensing technique, airborne laser scanner. With airborne laser scanner technology, you're able to see, to map also terrace under forest, so where there is a dense forest, so should be a very useful approach. What is the local community doing? This is a very, very interesting question. The local community, using volunteer and association, they try to do a nice restoration, a very interesting work. But however, this is not enough. They also try to, it's difficult to explain, but to help the new generation in the primary school to understand, also from the hydrologic point of view, the meaning of a dry stone wall. And this is an example of a 3D model provided by young people. Also here, you see with blue arrow is the water infiltration in the soil. And this is very interesting. However, this is not enough, because there are problems. We try to understand, using some working group, participatory approach, we try to understand the problems. And the problems, you are able to see the problems here. Here there are some keywords related to the working group. And the problems, okay, they are related to hydrogeological risk, rainfall, but it's a politic. They are politics. So the problem is politics, the problem is the young generation. And here I try to summarize the problem as seen from the farmers. The cost is very difficult to work in high steep areas. The young generation is a serious problem here. Maybe the view and the situation is a little bit pessimistic respect to the previous presentation, because they look at different frontiers and they want to travel, even if maybe they obtain less money, but they want, for example, to be in London to wash dishes, because this is the new generation. Land fragmentation is another serious problem in Cinque Terre, in Liguria. This is a big problem. This is a normative problems, because it's impossible to obtain specific regional or European funds, because they focus only on big farm. So if I have a small land, small farm, it's difficult to obtain money. The cost of work. The cost of work is another serious problem. For example, farmers told us that it's a problem that now the Italian government stopped to give vouchers, for example, for temporary work. Why not reintroduce voucher? And bureaucracy. So only a political decision can fix such issue. After some brainstorming, we provide some suggestion. From the scientific point of view, we need to understand more maybe on underground drainage system, underground subsurface processes, especially under different climate change forcing, because we are living now in the era of climate change, and the rainfall distribution and intensity is not like in the past. So we need to understand more about this, and we need to predict any kind of criticalities. Management, we need maybe to provide, to understand if there are some best agronomic practice to mitigate some hydrological criticalities. And from the political point of view, maybe change the regulation in Liguria, Regione Liguria, from the PSR, Piano di Sviluppo Rurale, and also in Bruxelles. Looking also at small farm. And some farmers told us, why not provide a new agrarian reform looking at this kind of land fragmentation in Italy, and facilitate the temporary workers. And also, this is a kind of polemic sentence, but it's the voice of farmer. So rethink maybe the role of Parco Nazionale Cinque Terre, focusing more on land and agriculture, and maybe less on tourists. Why not? And this is the last slide. Refugees, why not using refugees? Refugees can be a solution, but only temporary solution, because also in 10 years they look as or the young generation, they maybe look at different frontiers. And some proposals are maybe not good proposal or a sad proposal, but is reality. Just abandon some terrace, maybe those very far from village, while preserving only the most interesting one close to village. And of course, monitor with the drainage system. This is very, very important. And also, some farmers told us, why not asking to big wine companies to come in Cinque Terre and maybe spend money there and help in restore the landscape. And the last, but I think this is the key word of this meeting today, bureaucracy. Stop with bureaucracy, because in Italy, this is the real problem. And people from abroad, we don't understand this. I have many friends outside Italy, but we don't really understand that the problem here in Italy is the bureaucracy, is the real enemy of our society. Thank you so much.